So let's learn about the verbs in French, how to conjugate them. So I took an example of the verb go. So first of all, keep that in mind that in in French, you have to learn it by this way. So je, okay, which is equivalent to I in English, is singular person, right? And tu, which is equivalent to you in English, is also singular person. And he, il, elle, on, okay, is also a singular person in French, which is equivalent to he, she, it. Okay, so if this is clear in your head, then it makes learning French language very easy. You have to keep this concept in mind while you are conjugating the verbs. It has to be, you have to ask yourself that question every time you want to conjugate whether the subject is singular or it's plural. If it's singular, then you have to conjugate the verb accordingly, and if it's plural, then you have to conjugate the verb accordingly. So here we will talk about the verb aller, which means to go. So I also wrote the conjugation of the verb in Hindi, so to make you understand the concept, and English as well. So how we conjugate in French is je vais, tu vas, il va. So this is all the singular person that we are talking about. But if we happen to talk about the plural person, so then we will say nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, which translates to we go, you go, and they go. So basically, what I mean to say is here is that if you want to learn French, then you have to learn it this way. As every verb will be conjugated in different manner, and so you have to keep that into consideration while you are conjugating those verbs. Okay, moving forward. So here I am just trying to conjugate the three type of verbs that we have in French. First of all is the are the verbs ending in er. En français, in English it's er. Okay. So how, if we happen to conjugate these type of verbs, how will we conjugate them? So with je, I just first of all I take the base, that's parle, okay? The base is parle, and since these are er verbs, I will just add e when I conjugate the verb with je. Je parle. But keep in mind that I am not pronouncing the ending e, but I have to write. Same thing with tu, I say tu parles. With il, I say il parle. And but with nous and vous, I have to pronounce the endings the same way that are right. So the conjugation becomes nous parlons, vous parlez. Okay? With il plurial, that's lot of people. They in English, I would say il parle. Okay? So if you see the verb ending in er, like parler, it means to speak. Okay, so this is how you have to conjugate that type of verb. Okay, I repeat again: je parle, tu parles, il parle, nous parlons, vous parlez, il parle. So when I speak the verb with the subject je, tu, il plurial, I do not pronounce the endings. Okay, I just say parle, 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 parle. But when I conjugate the verb with nu and vu, I do speak the endings. This is very important thing that you have to keep in mind. Okay, with nu and vu you have to pronounce it, the endings. Okay, so now let's talk about the second category verbs, or the verbs ending in er en français. In English it's ir. Okay, so I'm conjugating the verb finir, which means to finish. How I would pronounce it? Je finis, tu finis, il finit, nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent. So again, you see, when I pronounce these, I just pronounce up till here. Je finis, tu finis, il finit. That's it. But when I'm pronouncing the verb that's conjugated with nous, I say nous finissons, vous finissez, and then ils finissent. Okay, you have to keep into consideration that. Again, when you are conjugating the verbs ending in er, en français er, en anglais c'est ir, you have to speak the endings when you are conjugating the verbs with nous and vous, these two starred, but you don't have to speak the endings with other subjects. So I repeat, je finis, tu finis, il finit, nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent. Now let's have a look at the another category of verbs ending in er, e. How we will conjugate them. So the verb that I took is vendre. It means to sell. So when I pronounce it, just pay attention. I don't pronounce the last S. I say je vends, tu vends, il vend. Nous vendons, vous vendez, and il vend. Okay. So you see here, I did pronounce when I conjugated the verbs with nous and vous. So I did say vendons, nous vendons, vous vendez. So whatever I wrote, I did pronounce that. But in with other subjects, I did not pronounce the endings. So I said je vends, tu vends, il vend, and il vend. That's it. So when you will listen the sentence completely, okay, you will see that I am talking about a singular person or a plural person, or there are more people involved. So then based on that you can conjugate the verbs accordingly.